Well, hello, everybody. I want to introduce you to my friend, Joster Jumbe, who is in Zomba in Malawi. And he's going to talk to us about translating books into the Chichewa language. So, Joster, why don't you begin by telling us who speaks that language, Chichewa?
Chichewa is spoken in Malawi, Zambia, and eastern part of Zambia and Mozambique. Altogether, over 30 million people speak Chichewa.
That's a huge number of people. So all of Malawi, that's the national language.
In Malawi, it's a national language.
Yeah.
But in Zambia, it's one of the biggest languages, as well as in Mozambique.
Mozambique. So the northern part of Mozambique, because Mozambique's a huge country, isn't it?
Yes, it's 7 times bigger than Malawi.
Yeah, golly. Okay, so the northern part of Mozambique, all of Malawi, the eastern part of, and the central areas of central part of Zambia. So a big region. Now, how many books have you translated for CBW into?
We have translated over 13 books from English into Chichewa. We started a translation with Charles Haddon Spurgeon, Sermons of Charles Haddon Spurgeon, the Old Testament sermons.
Very good. So the sermons of Spurgeon. Have you done any other sermons? Is it just Spurgeon?
Yes, we have also done sermons of John Calvin.
John Calvin.
Yeah, we have also done the sermons of Martin Luther, they're just clumped with other books because my office is full of books.
Okay, well that's great. But why have you chosen books on sermons particularly? Has that been a decision that you've made deliberately?
Yeah, it was very important to start with the sermons because we discovered that most of the pastors, they just preach anyhow. So we wanted samples for them to use whenever they are presenting their sermons in the church. That is why we selected these sermons so that pastors should read, understand how these great men of God were preparing their sermons in the church.
Okay, because it's quite difficult to teach people how to preach, isn't it? But if you show them how to preach, how other people have preached, then they can copy and learn from that.
Yeah, that is because first of all, we could teach them how to prepare a sermon.
Yes.
After teaching them how to prepare a sermon, then we gave them samples of sermons by Martin Luther, John Calvin, and Charles Haddon Spurgeon.
Understand. Now tell me, how have you got time to get involved in this? What do you do as a job? Because Christian Books Worldwide isn't paying you, but so how are you able to find the time to do this?
I am a part-time lecturer for Eshko Theological College. Eshko Theological College is based in Zomba, where it trains pastors for the Reformed Presbyterian Church of Malawi. So I work there for a fortnight on each and every month. The other fortnight, I'm always free. So it is during this time where I am free, where I work now for CBW, traveling different parts of Malawi, going to Zambia and as well as to Mozambique.
Well, it'd be interesting to just understand that a little bit more. Can you explain first, when you go into Malawi, when you distribute the books, how do you actually use them? Do you just give them out to anybody who you see, or are there people that you are planning to meet? How does that work?
MIT has got Chichewa centers in Malawi. So we go to these centers, we train the pastors for 2 days. After 2 days, we give them these books for them to read and as well as to use them as assignments, because during our second visitation, we ask them the contents of the book and what they have learned from them.
Okay, so you go to these different centers all around Malawi, spend 2 days there, and pastors gather. Now, tell us a little bit about the pastors. Are these village pastors, local pastors?
They are the local pastors. Those pastors who have got churches, but they have never gone to any theological college or Bible school.
Okay, so they haven't been. They're the kind of poor pastors in the villages who haven't had any theological training. But what kind of books do they have? Do they have any books themselves? I assume that they have a Bible.
Most of these pastors don't have the books as well as the Bibles. For example, when I visited Mozambique, we were told a story, a very touching story, whereby a pastor narrated that whenever he wants to preach, he has to borrow a Bible from his friend. And some of these pastors, they just learn by heart some of the passages. Yeah. So whenever there is no Bible, they just recite what they remember by heart. So most of these pastors are very poor. They cannot afford, some of them, to buy a Bible, yet they have good churches. They have never received any theological training. What they teach is just what they either heard somebody preaching. So most often it's always disorganized.
Yeah, I understand. But they really do read the books, do they? In Chichewa, they will read them.
Yeah, most of them, they read the Chichewa, because when we visit them the second time and ask them what they have read, they are able to tell us what they have read and what they have learned.
So you can check on them, make sure that they are reading the books.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what happens in Malawi. When you go to Mozambique, let's think about Mozambique first. What happens then? Are you going to Zomba mint centers in Malawi, or are you seeing other people?
In Mozambique, we have also established the Chichewa mint centers, knowing that the need there is very great, especially that most of the pastors in Mozambique do not have an opportunity like those in Malawi, because in Portuguese, in Mozambique they use Portuguese. However, not all of them are able to read and write in Portuguese. So, and most of them, whenever they were refugees in Malawi, they learned Chichewa.
Ah.
So this is an opportunity for them. So whenever we equip them with these books, they read them and they use them in their daily lives and as well as in their churches.
Now, you mentioned refugees. There is a refugee camp in Malawi, isn't there, that you go and visit?
Yeah, this refugee camp that is in Malawi now is different from those old refugees camp by Mozambicans, because this one is for refugees from Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia, and some from South Sudan.
Okay, so when you go and visit those camps, you need books to give the refugees in the that you've just mentioned, but they don't read Chichewa, do they?
No, the refugee camp that is existing now in Malawi does not use Chichewa books. They use Kiswahili.
Kiswahili
and French.
Yes,
hence the need for French books and as well as Kiswahili books.
Yes, and I should just explain to viewers that we supply Joster with French books from England. We sent in French books, and we've also arranging from Kiswahili books to come down from Nairobi to our little hub in Nairobi, so that he's got books that he can give to the refugees in those camps. It's part of what CBW. So it's not just Chichewa you do. You give other books away, but Chichewa is the main focus of what you're doing with us. Joster, can we talk a little bit more about your operations in Zomba? You're at such a kind of crucial kind of a hub for CBW, where we kind of want to provide you with books that you can send out. But as you mentioned earlier, you are limited for space. The plan is for you to buy a container, a shipping container that you can use for storage. Could you tell us a little bit about those plans?
Yeah, right now, tomorrow I will go to Blantyre to ask for the quotation of a container from some of the shipping companies there. So as soon as they will give me a quotation, I will send the quotation to CBW for you to look at it. I don't have enough space for these books. And I hope with the help of the container, I'll be able now to keep as many books as I can, and I'll be able to put them now in order.
Yes.
Unlike now where they are disorganized because I've just put them anywhere in my office.
Okay, so you've got a space problem, and we're hoping to sort that out. Tell us about, so when a book is translated, you have it printed locally, you print it yourself. Where do you get them printed?
I print them with assemblies of God Press in Blantyre.
Okay, so you'll have them printed there. Blantyre, just tell us, is about 60 kilometers away from Zomba?
Yes, it's 60 kilometers away from Zomba.
Okay, and then you'll be able to store them in the container and then take them when you go on your visits to Mozambique and Zambia or in Malawi, you can take them.
Yeah, that is what I'll be doing.
Now, I've seen some wonderful pictures of you traveling with your books when you go on your trips to abroad to Mozambique and to Zambia. But it's not always very straightforward, is it? Sometimes you try and borrow a car, don't you? But sometimes cars break down and you have to canoe across rivers and do all sorts of things like that. Perhaps you could tell us a bit about your transport arrangements.
Yeah, that is what I normally do, because as of now, the Dutch Mission Board allow me to use their car. So I'm a bit lack on that. But whenever now there is no car, I have now to travel by public buses to the proper destination. And there are some places where no buses can go over. So we have to cross the rivers by canoe. After crossing by canoe, we use pushing bikes. After using the pushing bikes, we use the motorbikes until we get to the destination. That is what we normally do.
Yeah, very good, very good. Now, tell us a little bit about COVID, because the last year, there's been disruption. It's been difficult to travel around. What are the arrangements now? Are you in lockdown? Can you move around?
Yeah, in Malawi, we are able to move freely, though we have got the COVID, but we cannot cross the border because the borders are officially closed. Both borders for Mozambique and for Malawi, they are officially closed. Now, what I am doing, I invite pastors from Mozambique to meet them at the border. Thereafter, I give them the books so that they can get them and support their pastors in Mozambique. That is what I'm doing now. Okay, so if we sum up, you are going to get books in Chichewa, which you'll print in Blantyre. You'll have books from Nairobi in Kiswahili. You'll have books from the UK in French and in English, all in your container, and you'll be taking them out as you travel around. Yes, that is what I'll be doing. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Joster, for spending this time with us. We're very keen, CBW, to continue to support your ministry. You're doing a brilliant work. And we're hoping to raise some money to make this possible for you to have this container where you can, your books will be secure and you'll be able to print locally. Yeah, thank you very much. Express my thanks to the entire CBW management for the support which you give me for books as well as for printing of these books. This is a great work. That worth much appreciation. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah. Bye-bye.